next speaker is Mr. Aung Kyaw Moe, who's joining us virtually. He is the first Rohingya to hold a ministerial position in Myanmar's National Unity Government. He's currently serving as the Deputy Minister of Human Rights. So before we begin, like a previous speaker said, the killing and the violence is so intense that the speaker was able to see smoke along the Bangladesh border. He was able to hear gunfire sounds. And there's obviously from our first two speakers, we heard that the Arkan army is killing Rohingyas indiscriminately. So I was wondering, and we here in Delhi were wondering, as the sitting minister, how do you see this situation? And also, could you please shine some light on what is the stance of the National Unity Government on the case? Over to you.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you so much for having me here. It's an honor to be speaking in this timely, important event together with other distinguished guest and speaker here. First of all, it's 7 years that the atrocities being determined at the 8th time as genocide by the United States and other international community. What happened to the Rohingya is has been truly saddening. Looking at the current situations, what other speakers previously has mentioned as well, we stand in solidarity with the survivors and those who are remaining in Rakhine State, those who are in Bangladesh, and those who are spread across the world due to this conflict and survive from these atrocities, crimes that has been committed systematically with intentions consistently for so long by Burmese military. And I'm honored to be speaking on behalf of the National Unity Government and in my capacity holding as a ministerial positions, I would like to highlight a few key points. First and foremost, the recognitions of the historic wrong. The National Unity Government acknowledged that the 2017 atrocities, crimes that has been determined as genocide by various international community, including United States, Canada, and others, against the Rohingya, and it is shameful things, and we are very shameful, and we are working toward the abolishment of the past discriminatory policies, laws, and act, aligning with the new federal democracy charter core values of the justice, equality, and non-discriminations. The commitment to ending the discrimination is consistent with the principle enriched with the federal democracy charter for a new Myanmar based on the mutual respect and inclusivity. These crimes that I have mentioned earlier, that's fall under the international crimes and enable discriminative politics and rhetoric. The NUG, in alignment with its allies, political allies, seek to rectify this injustice as part of broader Myanmar transition to a inclusive federal democratic union. And as part of the commitment of the government, the National Unity Government acknowledged the past exclusionary practice that contributed to the Rohingya persecutions. In line with the Federal Democracy Charter, again, NUG commits to create a future where discriminations operations are eradicated and ensuring a union where equality prevails and for all ethnic groups, including the Rohingya. And I have carefully listened, and we have been constantly monitoring as well the situations on the ground. And it is very, very important to keep in mind that all that happened is accumulations of systematic, intentional violence that's carried out for decades and decades. And we are at the very dangerous crossroad in Rakhine State and in Bangladesh as well, where people in the Bangladesh side, 1 million people has been refuging for past 7 years. with a very dark future without knowing when they will be able to go back to the place of origin with safety and dignity. While international community and the host government itself, the Bangladesh, to whom we appreciate very much for hosting with the limited resource, a million people are trying their best to be repatriating with safety, dignity to the place of origin. There are people every day attempting to depart from Rakhine State. That's mean that situations in Rakhine State is unbearable, where people are ready to jump to the river, and the land itself became much more dangerous. And recent incident took place, capsize of the boat and attack while trying to flee the violence are the concrete evidence or example of the or indicator of the situations, I would say, in Rakhine State, how horrific it is from a survival standpoint as a human in Rakhine State. And these include like gross human right violations carrying out by we have been, again, we are constantly monitoring. We have been hearing multiple stories and getting multiple footage and facts figure from different sources that these crimes that being committed against civilians are from multiple sides, including the Burmese military, and then many also highlighted that this is such escalations. The violations are coming from Arkan army as well, so-called the Rohingya freedom fighters, and which are, as mentioned by the previous speaker, does not solely represent that we understand the Rohingya community. So when it's come to these atrocities, I think it is very, very again crucial to keep in mind that what happened to the Rohingya people is again initiated long before the current situations by the military. And while we are focusing on the current development, which are very, very concerning, it is very important to keep in mind that Burmese military is the primary and still remain the primary one of the primary again of human right, gross human right violator on the ground. And we and of course the others, anyone regardless of their political ideology, if they are committing atrocities, crimes against humanity, war crimes, or genocide, we should stand principally to ensure that the fact figures and documentations are collected, that the perpetrators are held accountable. Just because there are political alignment doesn't mean that the person should enjoy or the group should enjoy the impunity. And I think that it's very important that Rohingya people as well are able to put compelling narrative that those who are trying to claim the fighting in the name of Rohingya are not the representative of the Rohingya, as Brother Nisan earlier mentions. And I think the one of the point as well is like when Rohingya are trying to be in the name of some people in the name of the Rohingya trying to march with the military, we are kind of like taking in the wrong side of the history. And I think Rohingya has never been taken in the wrong side of the history. And this is the spring revolutions in Myanmar is a history that's not yet history. So if we are well, a few people are taking in this wrong side of the history, that doesn't mean Rohingya as a whole need to take the collective responsibility of those people. If it is the case, like for example, Burmese military is Burma, nobody's asking Burma people to take the responsibility of the Burmese military. And as well as there are so many other groups as well come from different ethnic group taking the wrong side of the history. That doesn't mean the ethnic that they belong should take the responsibility. I think we need to be very clear on that, so that the stakeholder within Myanmar understands that Rohingya are in line with the effort of the building inclusive federal democracy, not because just alone Rohingya are asking for the rights that they deserve and justice that they deserve, as well as they are an asset, not a liability to the nation building process of Myanmar. This is very important, I think, to keep in mind. as well, the key a few other things: the national unity government's effort to establish conditions against conducive to the safe, conducive, voluntary return of the safe displaced of Rohingya people in line again with the Federal Democracy Charter is one of the key priorities. The commitment reflect again Federal Democracy Charter principle of the self-determinations and respects for the rights of the all ethnic nationalities. And we have been making every effort to collaborate with Bangladesh government and UN, United Nations agencies and other ethnic groups to facilitate secure, safe repatriations, resettlement and reintegrations with this joint political objective of the national unity governments and the self-determinations again. And we're also working toward to a sustainable, finding a sustainable solutions to ensure that the Rohingya repatriations and reintegrations are sustainable by embedding in the framework of the federalism and national equality and the local self-governance in the joint political statement recently released. And national unity government as well emphasized on the sustainable reintegrations reflect against on the Federal Democracy Charter to build a peaceful federal democracy where all ethnic groups can exercise its right. And these support the broader goal of the united in diversity and ensure the Rohingya and other minorities are integrated into the nation building process. Well, lastly, when it's come to the international justice and accountability at the international level, we will continue to work with international judicial bodies like International Court of Justice, International Criminal Court, to advocate for universal jurisdictions to deliver justice for the Rohingya and other minorities as a part of the broader transitional justice process outlined in the joint political visions with other political allies. And the national unity government commitments to the international legal process, including ICC, ICJ, in line against with the Federal Democratic Charter's value and justice and accountability. This effort resonates with the Charter emphasis on the transitional justice and rule of law as the foundations of the new Federal Democratic Union. And and holding the military leaders accountable for their action is the key in it, which align the objective of dismantling the military's political rule and ensuring justice for all people in Myanmar. The last not least, we are also working toward to the larger inclusions of the Rohingya in overall from the very grassroots level to the highest level of the political spectrum in Myanmar. And I myself in an example. And that doesn't mean that inclusions of one person is a silver bullet. And I think we are working towards to the comprehensive inclusions of the Rohingya across the nation building process in Myanmar. And we are also working on the abolishment of the 1982 citizenship law. We are at the final stage to abolish that and which will again contribute to the justice process and other work related to the Rohingya and other minorities who has been profoundly impacted as a result of this law. And the new law will be based on the race of the new law will not be based on the race or religious of someone, but it will be based mostly on the where they are being like based on birth rather than based on the race and religion. These will be again in line with the international norms and standard, the values that we are preaching to international community for a peaceful federal democracy, as well as any other related law that we are going to be abolishing, including the national safeguarding law that discriminate a religious minority and so we're working tirelessly on those things. But again, while an active revolution is ongoing and coming to a conclusions of dismantling all the legal framework that has been exercised for so long is a time-consuming and effort-consuming process. But what I can assure here is that the legal component that has impacted Rohingya people will be abolished. Lastly, I, I, I think I will take 1 more minute to just ensure that the the current situations we are closely monitoring, and all are documented, regardless of the perpetration of the human rights violations on the ground, and the transitional justice is a key in building a new federal democracy. That's mean that regardless of the perpetrators, whoever committed, whether it's military or whether it's ourselves or our allies, will be brought to will have to be facing the existing transitional justice process that's going to be in place. And with that, I end. Sorry, it's taking longer than I expected. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.